want to start today with a confession. Yep, a confession. See, early in my teaching career, I had a student who was painfully shy. You know the kind. Sweet, observant, incredibly thoughtful, and completely silent in class. And because I cared, because I thought participation meant speaking out loud, I did what I thought good teachers were supposed to do with shy students. I nudged, I encouraged, I called on her to just give it a try over and over again. And here's the hard part to admit. I thought I was helping. What I didn't realize at the time was that every well-meaning prompt, every "you can do it," every gentle push to speak up over and over wasn't necessarily helping her, and maybe it was even making it harder for her, not easier. I didn't understand that for some kids, especially shy kids, being put on the spot, especially when you do it a lot, doesn't actually build confidence. It can shut them down. And looking back now, I can actually see it so much more clearly. She was participating, she was learning, she just wasn't doing it the way that I had expected her to. And that realization, well, it changed the way that I think about participation and engagement and what it really does mean to give students a voice, which is exactly why I'm really excited about today's conversation, because we're going to talk about how to truly support shy students in our classrooms without forcing them to become someone they're not. Today, I'm introducing you to Christine Devane and her book, Elephant Beach, which centers around a shy girl's experience as she starts to come out of her shell. We'll talk about Christine's book and how we teachers can support shy students in meaningful, respectful ways. So if you've ever worried about the quiet ones or wondered if you're doing enough for your shy students, or maybe you're realizing, like I did, that your approach maybe needs a gentle reset, you're exactly in the right place. Hey friends, welcome to Enjoy Teaching Again, the podcast for teachers who love the work but need a little spark to bring the joy back. I'm your host, Elizabeth Peterson, classroom teacher, arts integration specialist, and passionate educator of over 25 years. If you're overwhelmed by behaviors, disengaged students, and long, exhausting days, you are not alone. But together, we can turn things around and you can teach with confidence and purpose again. So locate that cold coffee of yours, find your favorite pen, I know you have one, and let's dive in. It's time to get inspired and enjoy teaching again. Have you ever felt like you're on a never-ending hamster wheel? Papers to grade, behaviors to manage, expectations to meet, and somewhere along the way, the joy of teaching got trampled over. I've been there. I remember the days when I felt like I was putting out fires instead of teaching, like I was playing whack-a-mole with student behaviors instead of making a difference in my classroom. Even my lessons were falling flat because it seemed like all I was doing was reading from a script. And sometimes I actually was. I missed the spark, the connection with my students, the creativity that made me excited to walk into my classroom each and every day. And then I decided to change things. I decided it was time to bring back that spark, to connect with my students on a deeper level, and to create a classroom culture that felt good to be in, for me and for them. That's why I created the Classroom Reset. It's the personalized program that I wish I had had when I was in the thick of it. The one that would have reminded me that teaching can be joyful, creative, and yes, fun again. Inside the course, I share the very steps that have transformed my teaching and my students' learning, strategies that have helped and inspired hundreds of teachers over my now 20 years of giving workshops and courses and retreats. We'll look at engagement strategies, creative classroom management strategies, some arts integration tactics that help with your students' social and emotional growth, and we'll do it in a way that it just becomes part of what you do in your classroom. And the best part, starting this month, I've added a new bonus into the course. You'll get personalized support, Like, you ask me any question and I answer you personally. No generic answers, no go try this and see if it works. We'll actually work together to reset your classroom and make it a place that you and your students love to be. So, are you ready to get started? Go to theinspiredclassroom.com/reset and let's reset your classroom together. Well, welcome, Christine. I'm so glad that you're here with me today to talk about your fun book.
Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. So tell me just a little bit about you and your background, because I know you were a teacher. So tell us a little bit about how many years you were teaching and where you were teaching.
Sure. So I started teaching right after I graduated from college, and I taught for a year at St. Augustine in Andover. So it's a Catholic school. I taught third grade. And
Nice.
then I switched over to public school and I taught in Waltham. I taught a mixture of second grade and third grade for 12 years.
Oh, awesome. So you have a lot of experience under your belt. That's great. Yeah, so let's jump right into this amazing little book that you have here. It's called Elephant Beach. Tell us a little bit what inspired you to write that.
So, growing up, I was extremely shy
Yeah.
and I loved reading books. I loved being by myself. And it was hard sometimes to join groups. I remember when I was small, my mom brought me to dance class and I didn't really want to join. And I sat on the side. And eventually I joined and met my best friend who we're still friends and our kids are friends. So, I grew up being shy. And then when I became a teacher, I really identified with the shy kids in my class because I understand how tough it is. There's extroverts that have an easier time. They're raising their hand, they're joining groups, they're making friends. And sometimes the shy kids kind of get forgotten about. And I don't think they're always understood. So when I was teaching, my favorite part of the day was story time because all of the kids would sit on the floor, we would read a book, and most books talk about social skills. So we would have good discussions about it. And at that point, I realized there really weren't a lot of books about being shy. So I wanted to write my own book about being shy for the shy kids out there.
I love that because I can absolutely um, relate to this because, I wasn't necessarily a shy kid, but I look out at my classrooms year after year and there's always a shy kid. And sometimes you get one that is just, how I might describe as painfully shy, just can't even get a noise out. So I love that you're doing this with this book. So how does this book um, kind of address that idea of shyness and help a student who is kind of shy on the shy side.
So the book starts out with the girl going to the beach by herself to read her book, and there's a group of elephants there. And at first, she thinks they're a little annoying because they block the sun because they're so big, and then they get sand on her beach towel, and they don't mean to be annoying. They're just having fun. And they invite her to play, and at first, she says no. And
Mhm.
then eventually, she's intrigued by their game and she joins and she has fun. So the book shows shy kids that it's okay to take a little while to warm up to a group, but it's also nice to sometimes join a group and have fun. And we can make new friends that way. So the book kind of shows kids that it's okay to take your time to join the group. She said no at first, and
Mhm.
then eventually she changed her mind. And because she changed her mind, she had a different fun day at the beach with new friends. So it shows shy kids too that sometimes it's rewarding to step outside of our comfort zone. It's not always easy, but
Mhm.
it's rewarding. And the elephants were actually very kind and they did all sorts of fun things together. And she ended up having a really nice day at the beach.
Yeah, and I love how in your book it's like a very subtle shift in her kind of not wanting to have anything to do with the elephants, and eventually and slowly but surely she really does make friends with these elephants, which is so adorable. I love that. So you are a former teacher, so how does this book like reflect your experience with kids in the classroom?
So when I was teaching, as you said, there was always a painfully shy student in the classroom. And I just wanted to make ways to help the student realize that sometimes if we try to make friends, it's okay. I know that sometimes it's hard. And now with my own children, I do have an extremely shy child.
Yeah.
And we want to nudge them, but we don't want to push and force them because I can remember when I was little, sometimes I was forced into different situations and I didn't feel comfortable. And I remember that. And as a teacher and as a mom, I try not to do that with the shy kids in my class or my son that's shy because
Hmm.
you have to kind of be gentle with them because if you say, why aren't you making friends or why aren't you talking to people? That's just going to make them feel bad about themselves. They can't help it. And I think a lot of people don't understand that being shy is a personality trait. It's not something that children want to do. They don't say, oh, I want to be shy today. It's just their personality.
Yeah, yeah, and it's so nice to be able to really just understand that, and also kind of give them a little I don't know, like a highlight to kind of like get them to understand that it's okay to be shy and it's okay to kind of break through that a little bit too. I love that. So I have to tell you that elephants became a little bit of a thing in my classroom a number of years ago because when I was teaching math, I'd have students who would, write the answer to a word problem and they'd forget their label. And I would say, 10 what? 10 elephants? And it just became like this running joke. And so now I have students and past students that will come and ask me, where are your elephants? And, they would give me little elephant posters and things like that. So I absolutely adore that you have elephants in this book. So I want to know, why did you choose elephants as the companions for your story?
So there's a few different reasons, but when I was growing up, I was always drawn to elephants, and my parents and grandparents would bring me back elephants when they traveled. So I have a very
Aw.
big collection of lucky elephants, and I just like elephants' personalities because they're kind. They're also funny because of their size, but they're caring. And I thought that it would be good to show the girl that the elephants were nice creatures. I mean, the book wouldn't work if it was a crocodile or something
Yeah,
like that,
that's true.
because the elephants they're fun, they like to play, but they're also animals that like to be in herds and travel together and care about each other. And from what I've seen, and I've actually gone to Africa and I've seen elephants in the wild, and from what I've seen, they really do travel in herds and they take care of each other and they stay together, where not every animal does that. So I thought that it would be good to show a lesson where the girl is approached by the elephants and they're funny, but also kind and caring and easy to get along with.
Yeah. And it sounds like that would be such a great point for teachers to be able to make as they're talking about this book and kind of talking things through with their own students. I love that you chose elephants for those reasons. That makes it really special. All right. Now, I'm
Thank you.
assuming that your years as an educator really influenced your story, and I noticed a theme of kindness and acceptance and even trying a little something new. What are your thoughts on the influence that children's literature can have inside of our classrooms?
So I think that sometimes parents and teachers don't realize how much stories really do impact children
Mm,
because for me, especially with my own kids, I could say the same thing over and over and over again. And sometimes it goes in one ear and out the other. But if they read a story about it and they identify with the character in the story, they're going to learn the lesson through the story and they're going to relate to the message more than if I just keep telling them the same thing over and over again. So I
yes.
try to tell teachers and parents to read to their kids as much as they can because stories really do teach a lot of lessons and a lot of social skills. And it's
Yeah.
great to see kids learning through stories and identifying with the characters. And I've had people I've done podcasts with who have said, oh, my granddaughter related to your book because she went to camp and she was afraid to try something new. And like the elephant, she tried something new and she identified with the character in the book. So I think it's really important for kids to learn and read stories and also get the message across through subtle social cues without telling them the same thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said, they're not always listening as much as we want to think they're always listening. I know sometimes my old kids probably tune me out. So if you can get them to connect to a story where they're learning things, then I think that's the best thing you can do for them.
Yeah, it's the power of the arts for sure. And I think you just re-inspired me to bring back some picture books for my fifth graders because I think that even adults, so many demographics of people just really benefit from hearing good stories and learning from them. So that's great. And you do go into schools and share the story with classes, correct?
Yes. So I've been into over 20 classes and we have beach parties. So I try to make it fun and make it an event that the kids are going to enjoy and learn from. So I bring in beach towels, sunglasses, a beach ball, and usually we start out by talking about the beach. And since most kids have been to the beach, they can identify with it
Mm-hmm.
and they share what do we bring to the beach? What do we do at the beach? And then we talk about our favorite animals, since mine's the elephant. And then usually we read the book and we have a lot of discussions after. And then I have word searches. I have a writing activity. Some of that stuff's on my website too, and a word scramble. So that way, after the kids also have an activity to do. So it's if I was at the beach with an elephant, what would I do? And a lot of kids
Yeah.
like to say they would have a really big ice cream. But it's been a lot of fun because I try to make it fun for the kids and usually they have fun while I'm there because it's an event, it's something different. It's, oh, we're going to pretend we're at the beach today and they like it.
Yeah, yeah. And did you love reading when you were a child?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I was very shy and
Yeah.
I enjoyed reading. I loved reading animal books and I actually wanted to be a vet, but
Oh
I
yeah.
cannot stomach the sight of bugs. So that did that did not work out for me, but I did enjoy reading when I was younger. I loved reading books.
That's
Nancy
great.
Drew was one of my favorite ones. I read a lot of Nancy Drew books.
Oh, nice. Yeah, those mysteries were great. Absolutely. Yeah. So what do you hope for kids to take away from the Elephant Beach when they read it? How might they see themselves in the story as well?
So I want kids and also adults to take away from it that being shy is a personality trait. It's not necessarily a bad thing. And just
Hmm.
to really be patient with shy kids and also for kids that are extroverts, sometimes it's nice to lend a helping hand to somebody that's shy or
Hmm.
quiet. And for parents to just be patient with kids. My son that's shy, last year he went to soccer and he sat on the side almost every single game and he didn't play. But I brought him and it was fine. And then eventually he joined and he wanted to play. And this year he's been doing really good playing. And at a game last week, there was a grandmother there and she said, "Oh, it's awful. My son is so shy. He just sits on the side."
Oh.
And I said, "It's fine." And I think a lot of parents have some guilt about kids that are shy, and I
Mm-hmm.
really don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's just something that you have to learn to adjust your parenting to. So if your child doesn't want to join a game, maybe give them a little bit of a nudge, but I don't think we need to talk badly about them or think about it in a bad way.
Yeah,
And that's really my takeaway from the book for people to just be a little bit more patient with the shy people out
I
there
love that.
and realize that it's a personality trait that's not necessarily a bad thing. And I mean, sometimes
Yeah.
people outgrow it because I was extremely shy and now I'm not as shy. I still wouldn't go talk in front of 100 people, but I can do these and talk to people and not be as shy as I was as a child. So it's not something that's going to stick with them forever.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good lesson too. And I kind of wish I had known that. I had a little bit of a shy kid myself. And I had one that, sat on the sidelines and, it was like, "Oh, what do I do? Should I push him? Should I let him sit there?" And so it's good. It really is a good lesson for all of us to, just be cognizant of that. So that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing all of that. So tell the listeners, Christine, where we can learn more about you, where we can learn about the book, and get our hands on the book because it's so adorable. I love it.
Thank you. So I have a website. It's Christine-Devane. And then you can get the book on Barnes& and Noble, Amazon, and Archway.
Excellent. All right. So go get the book, read it to your kids, no matter what their age is, and have some really great discussions about some of these really amazing themes of shyness and kindness and elephants in general and all the caring lessons that we can learn from this book, Elephant Beach by Christine Devane. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
As we wrap up today, I want you to think about the shy students in your classroom, the ones who may never raise their hand first, who may avoid your eye contact, who feel everything so deeply but express really not that much out loud. Those students don't need to be fixed. They don't need to be pushed harder. Maybe they just need space, safety, and trust. And one of the most powerful mindset shifts that we can make as teachers is understanding that confidence doesn't always look loud. Participation doesn't always sound like talking. And engagement doesn't always happen on demand. When we create calm, creative, and caring classroom environments, especially through things like the arts and reflection and choice, we can give shy kids a way in to their learning, a way to express themselves without pressure, and a way to belong without feeling like they're on performance mode. And the beautiful thing, when we shift how we support our shy students, the entire classroom culture benefits. So if today's conversation sparks something for you, if you're realizing you want more tools to create that kind of environment, join me inside the Classroom Reset, where we focus on embedding connection and creativity and social emotional support into what you're already teaching so that every student, including those quiet ones, can thrive. Thanks again, Christine, for a wonderful conversation. I hope this episode inspired you, encouraged you, or gave you a fresh idea to try. And if so, I would love for you to take a screenshot and text it to one of your teaching buddies. I'm so grateful that you landed here with me today, and it would mean the world to me if you would leave me a review over on Apple Podcast. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll catch you on the next episode. This is Elizabeth Peterson reminding you to get inspired so you can be inspiring to your students and enjoy teaching again.